Y'all, on the real, I just read a tweet, and this is from the Girl Meets World writers, that they're saying, and it's for this episode that I'm doing a review on, that they're saying that Maya never liked Lucas because she transformed herself into Riley. I don't want to go too much into it because I actually talk about it in my review, but I think that's the most laziest writing I have ever heard in my entire life. And it makes me feel like that the people who created the show know that Rowan Blanchard, who's supposed to be the star, is becoming eclipsed by Sabrina Carpenter. Let's put it this way. I love Boy Meets World because Boy Meets World was not only different, they actually were daring enough to talk about a lot of issues that teenagers at the time, my age, well, that actually went through. They weren't afraid to talk about a lot of issues that were considered taboo, or at least taboo now. And they did something completely different and organic. Every single love interest there had a conflict. Even Corey and Topanga. Corey and Topanga, it grew on people because we saw them from being small on up to now when they became adults. We saw them struggle when they graduated from college, and we saw them be triumphant when they got married. And it was all about the moment of, waiting for sex and all this other stuff like that, and they went into it in great detail. The one problem that I have with this show is that it's extraordinarily saccharine at times and have very unrealistic conclusions. Not to mention that they had this love triangle literally sprawled out for 2 seasons. And now they're saying in one tweet that Maya never liked Lucas because she's too much like Riley, which I think is a complete crock. There's a lot of people that get influenced by their friends, sometimes in style, whether it's hair or clothes, sometimes in the people that they date, but it's always in a positive way. The fact that they actually did say that she completely turned herself into Riley when she's been known as a rebel for the last 2 seasons is stupid. And that literally makes Girl Meets Texas to be stupid. Like, it has absolutely no significant weight anymore. After that tweet was put out, it literally holds no weight to the love triangle itself, as well as the fact that they have Girl Meets Texas, one of the biggest events of the entire series, to be completely flat now. It has zero relevance at all after this. I highly think it's completely lazy. I think it was done because they see that Sabrina Carpenter is becoming a lot more popular than Rowan Blanchard. And not only that, Sabrina's character Maya is actually a little bit more realistic, and she has gone through a lot more than Riley has ever had. Riley's been through 3 seasons, and she's lived a very sheltered life. Her views are extraordinarily saccharine, and I'm going to be honest, there's a point to where there have been people who have been that naive, but not to the extreme of Riley. I'm sorry. Not to the point where it makes you a complete ditz. And she's not. She's actually a pretty smart girl. But the thing of it is, she's just not realistic in some of her views. And I know that there are a lot of kids now that can be that naive, but not that bad. And the fact that we find out in a tweet that Maya and Lucas will never be, and it's gonna be Riley and Lucas, which makes no sense to me because they're exactly alike. They're goody two shoes with exactly no view of life, real life, and they've experienced real life in some of the things in their episodes. At least I would believe they have. But as the series go on, you see that these 2 individuals live in their own world. Riley has Riley Town. Lord knows what Lucas has in his head. But honestly, they're far too much alike, but in a bad way. They are totally naive and very oblivious to how people are. And how realistic the life that Maya had to go through, in my opinion, she can learn something from Lucas, and Lucas can learn a lot from her. They seem like a far better couple than Riley and Lucas could ever be because they're far too much alike. Not to mention the fact that Lucas can barely take all the unicorn puppies and all this pinkishness of rainbow clouds that Riley talks about all the time. It's just something that doesn't fit. I'm sorry, it don't. And the fact that they actually had to make Maya into Riley is just lazy. I can go off on a tirade, but I'm not going to do that. I'm really disappointed in seeing that, and I thought that they would just know better. But guys, here's my review of Girl Meets Triangle. I'm done ranting here. There's not really anything else to say, but I really do hope that they end this in season 3. Everybody goes through an identity crisis. When we're older, when we're in high school, when we're in college, we all go through it. For this episode of Girl Meets Triangle, I love the title of it because there was more than one thing. It wasn't just Maya struggling through her identity crisis of who she is. It was about the love triangle. It was about, identity. It was about growth. Well, so much. It was about Maya's struggling through her identity of knowing who she is, and then also the triangle and how the triangle would define all the main friends. Now, yeah, there was no smackle in this episode, which was kind of interesting. And we had Zay, of course, but Zay's the dude. He has to be with the rest of the guys. But other than that, the thing of it is that when it came to Maya's identity crisis, I didn't see it as an identity crisis. I see that she was actually influenced by Riley, and she was inspired by Riley. But we do remember in season 1 that Maya was the rebellious one. She did anything that she wanted, and she ignored anybody that told her no. And then Riley wanted to be more like Maya because she felt that Maya was stronger, and she wanted to be stronger just like Maya. But the interesting thing is, in season 2, Maya started actually thinking a little bit more like Riley, with Riley in her head. Like, I think it was like the cartoon episode when she was actually, I don't know, in cartoon form, and like little Rileys popped out of her head. It just started to where that she became somewhat of a moral compass. But in season 3, I did not see her at all as Riley. I just saw her as somebody that wanted to try something new. I think she was tired of the rebellious nature. She wanted to try something different. She was inspired by her best friend, but not trying to imitate her. And the thing of it is that I think she's just tired. There's always a point in your life that you reach that breaking point to where, you know what, I'm done with this. Why am I going through this? Why am I doing this? This is just dumb. It makes no sense. And with Maya, she probably wanted to try something different. But the sad thing is, everybody kept saying that she wasn't herself. Everybody kept saying that, what was wrong with you? Why are you acting like this? It could have been the point where she just didn't want to rebel anymore. And that's what I saw in this episode. But the sad thing is, if your best friend can't really see that in you, then your best friend wasn't looking. I'm not really blaming Riley or anything, saying that she was blind, but I think Riley only saw her one way. And there are times that we don't really see our friends as everything we should see them as. Sometimes we see them in one way, and I think that Riley saw her in one way. But it was messed up how everybody kept telling her that she wasn't herself, even though she was. And then it was to the point where she literally started driving herself crazy and questioning herself and who she really is, even though she was who she was. Until the purple cat. When the art teacher questioned her painting, saying that, okay, this isn't you, but he took a step back and saw it was her, and she saw the purple cat, she was like, okay, maybe I'm becoming Riley. I didn't really see it that way. I honestly just saw the fact, and honestly, it would just seem like that they just wanted to make something happen. It did not seem at all that she was acting like her, like Riley. I didn't see it. But on a different end, Lucas finally made his decision, even after speculation. But the thing is that when they were actually going through the whole scientific process in Topanga's with Zay and with Farkle, it's a given that everything is pointing towards Riley. Even though throughout the entire season of season 2, it looked like it was geared towards Maya. It was a huge tease. But now it looks like it's actually going to be geared towards Riley. Everything he said kind of leans towards Riley. But then he said that, in the subway, who would ever thought that Riley would land on my lap? But he was like, well, Maya pushed her. The thing is that it's not going to be Maya, guys. We know what the decision is going to be. It's going to be Riley. And honestly, I think the ski trip is going to be the time when he's going to actually outright say his decision. And it's going to be Riley. And Maya's going to go another direction. I just see it that way. It's heartbreaking because I really think that Maya can learn a lot from Lucas. But it's a given that he's going to go to somebody that's similarly like him. And if you want to date somebody that's exactly like you, then more power to you. Even though I don't really see they can grow from each other if they're way too much alike. But that's just me personally. And honestly, I'm not going to see it as a big surprise seeing how he's going to pick Riley, because it is geared towards Riley. But other than that, he finally made a decision, but he left it on a cliffhanger. So we're not going to know for 2 more episodes down the line. In the next episode, she's going to finally find Sean to try to find out who she really is, even though we know who she really is. She's Maya. But she's going to have to discover that. But other than that, the one thing about this episode that really bothered me the most is Kitty. Or Kat. Or Katie. Whatever her name is now. The one thing that troubled me about her is that she became an absentee parent. Literally on purpose. Now, for the first time that we saw her in season 1, she had a reason why she wasn't there. She was literally trying to make ends meet to keep food on her table for her daughter, and she couldn't have had enough time to spend time with her because she had all these jobs to try to make ends meet. And everybody keep telling her how bad of a parent she is, but she did all she could to be with her mom, not to be with her daughter. Other than that, their relationship was extraordinarily strained. Nothing she could do was right, and she was absent for a reason. But now it seems like that Katie, Kitty, whatever they call her now, literally pushed Maya towards the Matthews and had the Matthews raise her. She even has dinner in their house. It's to the point where you rarely see them, and I'm like, okay. So she's literally pushing them, and she's not even handling her responsibility with her daughter. She freaked out when Sean bought her clothes. But now she's literally okay with having the Matthews raise her daughter. That's something I would never let her, I would never see that from her for the first seasons that I've seen her. Especially for season 2, when with that whole thing between her and Sean. She would fight for her daughter, and she would fight anybody that tried to upstage her and make her look like she was an absentee parent. But now she's okay with it. I wasn't cool with that at all. I really wasn't. I thought that Katie really grew a lot after she finally saw her ex-husband. Maya had a chance to forgive him. She had a chance to forgive him. I thought she was able to grow from that. But it didn't really. Like, it was sad. It really, really was. She seems more like an actress with her head in the clouds instead of an inspiring actress that's trying to get there. That's the one thing that made me really upset about that, about her character and how they changed it. But other than that, my overall thoughts about this episode is this. I did not like it that much, but it wasn't horrible. The thing is that I didn't see Maya as going through an identity crisis, but it made me sad that it made her feel like people were telling her that she was going through it, even though she wasn't. The whole thing with Lucas, the love triangle itself has died down since season 2. It literally feels like it is not as big of a significance as it was in season 2, which is good, because it really should define the entire series. And then the Kitty, whatever they call her now. Her mom, Maya's mom, what they did to her is something that didn't make me happy either. So honestly, I'm not too keen on this episode. I really wish it was a little better. But I'm actually looking forward to the next episode because we have a chance to see Sean. We might hear the answer of what would happen. Even though the answer is completely obvious, it is going to be Riley. At least we know what's going to happen down the line. So, those are my thoughts, guys, about this episode. I wasn't too keen on it, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. Leave a comment in the comment section below. What did you think about this episode? Did you really feel that Maya was going through an identity crisis? Did you feel like she was acting just like Riley, maybe to get Lucas? How do you feel about the love triangle? Is it like meh now? Because it's like meh to me. But other than that, guys, I want to hear your thoughts. Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.